Kellogg, which has been facing a strike for some time now, says that they are going to be replacing the striking workers, which is about the worst outcome I can imagine for this. But that said, we want to catch you up on all this so you understand the situation. Kellogg said just yesterday that a majority of its US cereal plant workers have voted against a new 5-year contract, forcing it to hire permanent replacements as employees extend a strike that started more than 2 months ago. That's their word, saying it's forcing them to do that. They could continue to just negotiate with the union there. They're choosing to fire them and replace them. So let's be very clear about that. But temporary replacements have already been working at the company's cereal plants in Michigan, Nebraska, Pennsylvania, and Tennessee, where over 1,400 union members went on strike back on October 5th as their contracts expired and talks over payments and benefits stalled. So they had workers had walked off of the line at 4 different plants in Battle Creek, Lancaster, Memphis, and Omaha after the union and the management at Kellogg's was unable to come to an agreement. And one of the things they have a problem with is this 2-tiered wage system, which some companies say helps them save money, which hardly seems like something that the workers are going to be interested in, but they're big fans of it. Union members say the proposed 2-tiered wage system will take away power from the union by removing the limit on the number of lower tiered employees. So how did we get to them effectively being fired, replaced? Well, there was a tentative 5-year agreement announced just last week, and changes would have included both a 3% wage hike for longtime legacy employees, as well as increases for both newer transitional workers and new hires based on years of service. And so the union workers have decided that that is not sufficient, that they want to remain striking. And one of the presidents of one of the local unions says, this is after just 1 year ago, we were hailed as heroes as we worked through the pandemic 7 days a week, 16 hours a day. Now, apparently, we were no longer heroes. We don't have weekends, really. We just work 7 days a week, sometimes 100 to 130 days in a row. For 28 days, the machines run, then rest 3 days for cleaning. They don't even treat us as well as they do their machinery, which is a devastating point. Jeez. Both of the points, really. They were talked about as if they were heroes. Many workers were, and that lasted for a solid 3 or 4 months. And then we all sort of just moved on as a society and started yelling at them and calling them lazy, JR.
We go back to our norm. Well, the point, I think partially of that was also to maybe encourage other people who maybe had left work out of fear and concern about the virus at the time, especially when we didn't know as much about it, to get them back into the workforce. Like, don't you want to be one of the heroes? Be one of the heroes, get back in the workforce, go to the grocery store, work there, go to, wherever it is that these people are working, where they have to be the heroes to continue the supply to everyone else to survive in a way. So that that lid's been taken off now, and we've discovered that the real reason for that is to push people there, not to actually hail them as heroes, because you may not want to pay them after all of this work. Now, whatever the negotiations are, whatever Kellogg's has set aside or planned to actually pay people, those details that I don't know about, sure. But as it comes to then now kicking people out and 1,400 workers and we're done with this and threats of moving the jobs to Mexico, all that stuff makes sense for what we see corporations always do when they're mistreating or trying to make sure they cut off just enough, few more extra pennies to make more money off the workers' backs. And the question is are they really asking for too much? I would love to see what it is that they're asking for that's just above and beyond any kind of realistic type of compensation for their work, because again, they're heroes. And does Kellogg's have the money to fulfill their demands and still be profitable? You would hope that everyone would work together, I'm
gonna guess. And look, are they heroes? Yeah, they continue throughout the pandemic to work crazy hours, giving us access to I don't even know how many products, a lot of products. We're gonna go into it in just a little bit. In terms of specifically what they're asking for, I have no idea what they objectively deserve or whatever. But what I do know is that unions are here to deliver for the workers, and if the workers overwhelmingly agree that it's not enough, this is what unions are for, and they can continue until they eventually come to some sort of agreement. The management is saying we're not gonna do that. We won't continue with just the temporary workers. We're gonna fire a bunch of people. It's also entirely possible that this is just another really barbaric negotiating tactic, but we'll have to see. In any event, what Kellogg is doing here is obviously not in the interests of the workers, and so that potentially leads to, should people be boycotting this stuff? Now, a lot of people already have been for a long time, and we wanted to show you some of the products that would be included if you wanted to participate in a boycott. So let's go to this. You can see that there is a lot of stuff there. Eggo waffles, so 11 is gonna have to participate in this boycott. All the way to like club crackers, I think those are, and Frosted Flakes and your Rice Krispies and your Go Lean if you're eating healthy cereal or whatever.
Let's go ahead and take the lid off, John. Let's take the lid off.
What are you talking about?
Pop-Tarts.
What?
Pop-Tarts.
No. No, it's not there. I didn't see it. I didn't see it. No. Wait, the value pack too?
All of it.
They also make the value pack? Well, they just make strawberry, right? Some other company makes brown sugar cinnamon, I have to imagine. No. See? Well, I didn't want the unfrosted strawberry anyway. Who wants that? I don't think a single person is eating those.
You've run into the brick wall, John, with your wokeness and awakened, eyes open stuff, trying to boycott companies. You know what you need to do? You need to take your Nikes and throw them into a fire and burn those too. Because only you crazy libs like to boycott places, and companies and all those. What's the matter with you guys?
That reminds me, way back, I think it was Nikes that the right wing was mad at, and they were gonna boycott. So Jordan photoshopped, like he did a video of a drone strike on a shoe, and he was like, I just destroyed my Nikes, and a bunch of right wingers like quote retweeted it as if it was serious. Anyway, but look, people are pointing out that I need to put my values where my mouth is, rather than Pop-Tarts where my mouth is, which is what I've done for my entire life. If I want to be consistent with my values, I can't go around eating delicious, life-giving Pop-Tarts. And so I am boycotting Pop-Tarts until they reach a deal that the union agrees with, or I and the audience forget that I said this. I will boycott, I will not eat Pop-Tarts. This is the sacrifice I will make for this nation. Instead, I will eat generic, nasty Pop-Tarts, okay?
Yeah, what I'm
not gonna eat Pop-Tarts.
Like the Safeway version or a Kroger brand, yeah, right?
No, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna find a good cafe that makes their own Pop-Tarts. Those will be good. Now I know some of you might be saying, John, shouldn't you have been boycotting Pop-Tarts this whole time? And you're right, I should have been. Have I been eating Pop-Tarts? Yesterday, but no. I'm done. No brown sugar cinnamon, no s'mores, no wild berry, no special holiday limited flavors, no Fruit Loop, which is so delicious, until they have a deal. And I would ask you all to stand with me, not just in the Pop-Tarts, but on a lot of other products. There are a lot, that's true, but there are alternatives. We can eat other foods and show support for the workers.
It's possible, you're right.
Hurt.
I mean, once Cheez-Its was on the list, I had an issue too.
You're a big Cheez-Its fan? Oh, geez. Okay. But reminder, by the way.
Sadly, this boycott is gonna put 10 to 15 years on both of our lives.
Totally good. Oh, I'm not gonna eat healthy now. I'm just gonna eat something else bad. Anyway, reminder, over 10,000 John Deere workers recently secured 10% raises and improved benefits after a strike. And they did have to reject offered deals, by the way. And you have other strikes going on. The Starbucks union vote in Buffalo actually ends today. So there's a lot of other efforts going on. We just wanted to make sure that you knew what was going on with the Kellogg one. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.